Boris Johnson is bracing for a damaging Tory rebellion as MPs vote on a new toughened system of tiered coronavirus controls for England, with Labor to abstain from voting. The government is expected to win today's Commons vote on the new rules, which are due to come into effect tomorrow. Sir Keir Starmer, who has previously backed government measures, said while his party had serious misgivings, it would not be in the national interest to vote them down. His move to whip Labor to abstain in the vote is likely to spark fears in Downing Street that Mr Johnson can no longer count on the opposition's support for such measures. However, with scores of Conservative MPs deeply unhappy at the extent of the restrictions, the vote is likely to throw Tory divisions into sharp relief. Some 13,000 staff of Sir Philip Green's Arcadia Group face an anxious wait after the business collapsed into administration. The high street giant, which includes the Topshop, Dorothy Perkins and Burton brands, has hired Deloitte to handle the next steps after the pandemic severely impacted sales. The group, which runs 444 stores in the UK and 22 overseas, said 9,294 employees are currently on furlough. The administrators said no redundancies have been announced as a result of the appointment, and stores will continue to trade. Mass community testing may not be possible all at once for areas of England with the toughest coronavirus restrictions, the head of operations for the program has admitted. General Sir Gordon Messenger said he did not yet know how many of the 23 million people going into Tier 3 will be able to access the regime, as planning is still very much underway, but said that capabilities will sequence over time, adding this will be into January and beyond. It comes after Boris Johnson signalled last week that mass community testing was the way out of Tier 3 restrictions, referring to the success story of Liverpool where the scheme was piloted. Female soldiers will be able to tell MPs about the sexual assaults and abuse they have faced as an inquiry is launched into their experiences in the military. The Defence Committee is launching an investigation into women in the armed forces, chaired by Tory MP Sarah Atherton. It has been made possible after Defence Secretary Ben Wallace lifted a gagging order which stops service personnel talking to parliamentarians without authorisation. The inquiry comes amid claims that a culture of silence persists within the armed forces in which alleged victims are stonewalled. The conviction rates in military courts for rape cases are up to 6 times lower than in civilian courts. And finally, the Crown star Helena Bonham Carter has said the show has a moral responsibility to make it clear to viewers it is a drama and not historical fact. The remarks from Bonham Carter, who plays Princess Margaret in the show, comes after Netflix's Regal drama attracted criticism for its use of creative licence. Oliver Dowden, the Culture Secretary, is expected to write to the US streaming giant this week, raising concerns that some viewers may mistake The Crown as a work of fact.